20,500. 20,500.
Me no know what to put first. Audio that. Oh yeah. Kiman, welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm the hostess, Sandra Izsadore, and today I would like to discuss with you what it's like to be a black or brown man in the what I perceive the unfair American judicial system. Being that I am the mother of girls, I've never had to know until recently, and that was through television, what it's like for the mother of a son. And now that I know a little bit about what it is to be the mother of a son through another mother's eyes, I want to speak directly to the son and you of today. What is it like when you go out in the streets of America and you're driving? It just so happens that the LAPD, the sheriff or the highway patrol pulls up behind you. Do you feel intimidated?
I mean, yeah, me personally, I would say there is like a sense of urgency to like know where they are at all times if they are around you, you know, like, so yeah, I guess you can say there's a little bit of an intimidation factor, but I mean, I just try not to focus on it, you know?
Okay, now, as a black man in America, did your parents ever have to have a talk with you about how to act when you go out and the police should happen to come up? Did they have that discussion with you?
Yeah, they've had that discussion with me.
See, as a mother of girls, I never had that discussion. Mm-hmm. And it never occurred to me to have that discussion until I heard other mothers speak. And with you, you know, with the type of work that you do, and when I say work, I'm speaking of you in the entertainment industry. You know, you're on the precipice of the entertainment industry. Tell me a little bit about your musical career, Kiman.
Okay, like, you want to know like how I started it all?
Yeah, what was your interest? What made you get into the music?
Okay, well, I mean, growing up, I've always like participated in the choir in church, and so like I always had a little bit of interest in music there, singing in there. Mm-hmm. And then as I got older, I was doing more sports and stuff, and then being boys bonding with our teammates, you know, we'd be freestyling and stuff on whenever traveling for games and all that stuff. And then like I would say maybe about a year or half a year before COVID started, like one of my friends came up to me and was like, "Hey man, let's start making some music," you know? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. I started trying it out. And then coincidentally, my nephew, who I also make music with now, he was making music. And so we just started, as one of my friends fell off from making it, I kept on doing it. And then I realized my nephew was doing it too. So, you know, we was like, oh, let's just start doing it together. And then COVID happened. And then that's when we started getting even more and more involved in it. And then just recording more almost like every day and then taking it more seriously and stuff like that.
And, you know, as a matter of fact, you can tell me a little bit about, you know, well, I like conscious music. I like the consciousness of, you know, for change, or music, not only to give me a beat, but to feed me some type of lyrical content. Like something that I saw today, say you can never receive, you can never see yourself, a reflection of yourself in boiling water.
to also mean that you can not feel the true essence of who you are in the heat of anger. Okay. So you can't see yourself. And I thought those words were pretty profound. They're not, I didn't say it exactly the way, but that was basically the essence. You know, usually you can see your reflection in water.
Yeah, correct.
But when the water boils, you cannot see yourself. So the analogy here is when you're angry, you cannot express yourself to the highest level. So, you know, as I love me some hip hop music and I love the beats and things that I'm hearing, but I'm finding that the youth have absolutely nothing for my mind. So, you know, in order to reach a wider audience, I'm thinking it's much more important to be able to give them the beat, but grab their mind and educate them through music. You know, a lot of our lyrical contents, how I learned my times tables was through the game of hide and seek in the 5, you know, and that's how I learned how to count by 5. So it's small things, and it was a song. So I'm saying, and you know, Afrobeat has been my forte, or music that I enjoy, Afrobeat and Afro beats. And the father and creator of that genre of music, he coined a phrase, and that phrase was use music as your weapon. And that in music, we can open minds and begin to wake up people, you know, because trying to be conscious in today's entertainment world is almost next to impossible. They have a few that have come out with conscious lyrics, you know, but usually they try to squash that. They don't want you singing about conscious things. So that's my thing about music. But then back to music, you as a young Black man in America can also express through music, so the world knows how you are treated by the unjust judicial system or legal system of America, that you have to feel intimidated when you go out and it just so happens that the highway patrol or the LAPD or the sheriff department should roll up on you. So my question to you is, have you had any encounters or uncomfortable moments?
Yeah, I can say I've had a few. I've had a couple in Arizona, and then maybe like 2 or 3 out here in California.
And the 2 that you had in Arizona, did it result in you being apprehended or taken to jail, or did they just, what did they do? In other words, please tell me.
More like stalled, like because there was two African Americans inside the car, and they smelt a hint of marijuana. They wanted to search the car. So, but I mean, like, there was nothing in there, and then they just pretty much had to sit on the side while they searched the car.
And once they checked the car and saw that there was nothing there, after you had already told them, because they happened to smell marijuana.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one incident, right?
Yeah.
What was the others? I mean, it's perfectly legal here in California.
Another one, I lived in Chino Hills, and I was just hanging out with. I had some of my friends coming over to my house. We were like having a little barbecue and swimming in the backyard. And I have tattoos on my body, right? So I have my shirt off, and I'm walking in and out of my house through the front door, through the side gate, stuff like that. And maybe I would say like 30 minutes later, 20 minutes later, police officers pull up, and I can hear them open my gate, and you're not supposed to come on property like that.
Right.
And I heard somebody say like, come out, it's the police department. And I was like, what? And they're like, it's the police department. And so as I'm going to go turn the corner, the officer already has his gun drawn and everything. And he's like, I heard there's a suspicious activity going on over here. Like, he didn't even ask me for my name or anything. Like, I was the one who had to calm down the situation and simmer it down, and I was like, I live here. And he didn't even ask me for my ID. Like, I was like, do you want to see my ID, my identification? And he's like, oh yeah, let me see that. So I gave it to him. He saw that I lived there and everything. And then he just said, oh, well, we had a call for suspicious activity. There was 3 police cars that pulled up, one at the top of my house, other part of the hill, right in directly in the middle of my house, and then one at the bottom part of my house. 3 cars.
That's shameful and intimidating. And see, me as ADOS woman, it would have been heated because first of all, I would have asked them, "What are you doing on my property?" I would have come at them. But being an endangered species in America, you handled that quite well. But that's one thing I've said as a female. I've had anytime they stop me, and and I've been stopped, and mainly I was stopped one evening in our own neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't the one driving, but it was my husband that was driving the car, and he was driving at that time. My brother had passed away, and we had his Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
But we were driving in our own community, and it was after the sunset, dark 30. Yeah. And the sheriff's department pulled him over. And when I say that, I want to add too, if you're ever stopped by the police, do not stop your car until you're in a well-lit, highly visible, with lots of people around, a location. Yeah. Because I do not trust them, mm-hmm. And especially the white boys in blue, Yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, they pulled us over. So the first thing, license and registration. Well, my husband was complying, but me, I want to know, well, what you pulling us over for? What law have we violated? Or are you pulling us over because we happen to be Black and in this community? I happen you to know we live here. So once I started talking, he says, okay, ma'am, just go on. That was one situation. Another, anytime we were driving down the street, once again, I'm a passenger, he's driving.
Yeah.
And the police was behind us. And it might have been the Lenox Sheriff's Department, I don't know. But anyway, it was one of those departments. And I was trying to get something out of the back seat. And I had my seatbelt on, but I was still turning around trying to reach something in the back seat. The next thing I know, pull us over. So once again, license and registration.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, well, okay, what are you pulling us over for? What is the violation? Well, I saw you reaching around. Well, what? I can't reach in the back seat of my car? I'm the passenger.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just infuriated me because there are people committing crimes. Go deal with them.
Yeah, for real. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And another time, and this in my community once again, we're driving while black, but the windows were rolled up, and the officer could not see inside the car.
Mm-hmm.
Pull us over. So we pull over, and license and registration, compliance once again. So they want to know. I said, what are you pulling us over for? This time it was about the tinted windows. I said, wait a minute. And he really got upset when I told him I'm an educated black woman. Here's my documentation from the doctor that states why I need tinted windows to protect my beautiful black skin from the UV rays.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing he can say, well, my skin condition hasn't changed. Thank you. So, once again, I have always been the person that confront them because I know you have no legitimate reason for stopping me other than the fact that you see a black man with nappy hair because he has locks and a woman that has her, I'm rocking me.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never would have thought of having that conversation to a male child because I'm not the mother of a male child. But I did not know that families of male children have to have that talk. And it's shameful.
Yeah.
It's shameful because basically we are endangered species.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank you, Kiman, for joining me today and joining my listeners on Connecting the Dots. And hopefully we'll be hearing from you musically soon. And we will open up and start to talk about things like this more so that mothers of girls will know how mothers of male children feel, and it really wasn't until this George Floyd knee on my neck that mothers started speaking up about the fear that they have when their sons go out at night. So I want to say to all the young men, when you go out at night and you're having a good time in America, in these major cities, please always check in with your mom or your dad or whoever that other person is in your life, that caregiver that cares about you, and say, hey, look, I'm just checking in. Send them a text.
Yeah.
That's another thing about young people. They don't answer their phones, okay? When parents call, they do not answer their phone. So send a text or say something, just don't ignore us. We're not trying to control your lives. But we didn't get old. We didn't get old being stupid.
Yeah.
We know how to tread these waters, and we want a better life for each and every one of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that album. Do you have any idea about when it's going to drop and the title or any of that to share?
I don't know about when it's going to drop yet, but maybe I can say sometime around in the fall.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll be listening for it. Will it be a single, or will you do a EP, or will it be?
There's going to be a couple of singles coming out first. I'll say maybe 3 or 4 singles, and then we'll get it going. Yeah.
Videos. You're going to do music videos as well.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yes, well, Kiman, I want to thank you for joining me today on Connecting the Dots. And
Thank you for having me.
To hearing from you soon. Now, how do people get in touch with you if they want to reach out and hear the music and everything? How do we do that? Your Instagram handle, Facebook?
Yeah. So they can definitely get my Instagram handle. It's Papa Kofi with 2 I's at the end.
Okay.
Just on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, pretty much everything is on my Instagram. You can find my link in my bio and then just look me up from there.
Well, thank you and be safe, okay?
Thank you. I will. You have a great day.
All right.